Hello and welcome back to Star Citizen. My name is Evenlease, and today on 10 Minutes More or Less Ship Review, right behind me, the Aegis Vanguard Sentinel. Let's go ahead and take a look. Welcome back to another review, and as you heard, the Aegis Vanguard Sentinel right in front of me. Thank you, WinRAR and ZeroGrav, for assisting me by being the pilot and the gunner so I can get the best angles of this ship for you. Now, taking a look at this ship here, it is $275 if you were to buy it on the Pledge Store, or if you buy it in game, it is $10,914,750 aUEC. Now, the Vanguard Sentinel is the E-Warfare or the EMP variant of the Vanguard series, so this ship is to go out there and not technically destroy the enemy, but it is to go out there and shut them down, hoping to keep the ship intact and maybe potentially taking their ship over. Now, this ship does have a max width of 40 meters when those wings are extended, with a length of 48 meters and a height of 9.5 meters. Now, if the ship does get destroyed, you do have a claim time of 18 minutes and 13 seconds, or an expedited claim time of 6 minutes and 4 seconds. So it's definitely not terrible, but not the shortest time frame either when expediting a ship of this type. It is considered a heavy fighter, and in the past it was considered a long-range heavy fighter, but that might have changed just due to its limited range, but we'll talk about that here in just a second. This ship does have a total damage per second of 1,644 by the pilot due to the 1 size 5 attrition 5 laser repeater, the 4 size 2 ATVS distortion repeaters, which is meant to shut down systems once the shields are down, and then you do have a manned gunner at the top, which has 2 size 2 distortion cannons, and those are the Sucker Punch Ls. Now, the pilot also does have a bunch of missiles with 4 size 2 Ignite 2 missiles, 4 size 2 Dominator 2 missiles, and 4 size 3 Arrestor 3 missiles, allowing the pilot to output tons of damage, which is just truly awesome. Like I said, it's a heavy fighter, and we'll talk about the long-range portion of it in here in just a second, but the pilot also has another trick up his sleeve, and that is the Rep VS EMP generator, outputting a total of 3,300 damage if you were able to get it off with the enemy's shields down. So make sure the enemy's shields are down and then shoot that thing off, and you should, hopefully knock it out of the sky or, shut down its systems if that ship is within 900 meters. Obviously, the closer that ship is to yours when you shoot that thing off, more than likely it'll do more damage to it, so keep that in mind. Now, the ship does have 2 size 2 shield generators, outputting 5,780 bubble shield. Definitely a terrible amount of shield, if you're asking me, for a heavy fighter that's supposed to be going to unknown areas out there in the vast distance and scouting for enemy contacts. That amount of shield is quite sad. Now, if you are looking at the ship health pool, it does have 48,140 ship HP, but that is spread throughout the ship on the wings, the fins, all over, so you can't expect that ship HP to save you either. Surprisingly, the Vanguard series, for a heavy fighter, has gotten somewhat fragile. So keep an eye on that bubble shield and get out of there if you think you're about to start losing the fight, because the second you lose those shields, you're starting to take damage all over your ship. It's just not worth losing everything you've probably stored on there, and of course your crew. So get out of there when you can for the sake of that. Now, you do have a top SCM speed of 210 with a 458 forward boost, a 220 backwards boost with a top nav speed of 1075. So its speed isn't bad at all, especially given it's a heavy fighter with an interior. That speed, not terrible. And then you do have a 40, 36, 126 pitch yaw roll with a boosted 48, 43, 151. Again, not terrible. Now you do have 39 SCU of hydrogen fuel and 1.8 SCU of quantum fuel, which is where it's kind of disappointing. You would expect a long-range fighter where it's supposed to kind of go into areas that are unknown to us and scout, look for targets, kind of patrol, to have a lot more fuel than that. Instead, you're going to be stopping every few jumps to make sure you have enough fuel to make the next one. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the interior of this ship and just, check things out really quick before I show you some combat footage. Now, as you can see, the only interior into this ship is through the back here. Once you go to the back, you can go ahead and open this ramp, which will allow you access into the interior where your crew will live for probably quite a bit of the future. Now, let's go ahead and shut this ramp here and take a look at the interior, starting with the quantum drive right here at the back. You have to have the ramp down to go ahead and take this out, or at least open the door, and then you can open the ramp and tractor it out, do what you need to do. And then if you walk through the rest of the ship here, you can see to your right, you do have quite a few things to help your crew, from a weapons locker here, to a food crafting area here, once we do have the crafting in, to a area for your crew to sleep. 2 beds, which, probably knowing Aegis, these are probably also, escape pods, so hop in there and pray to make it out alive, right? And then if you turn around, you do have also a personal storage area. You can open that up and store what you need to on the ship, as well as a bathroom for you and your crewmate to go ahead and take showers and use the facilities while you're out there on those long-range patrols. Now, this is the E-Warfare class of ship, so it's supposed to be able to go here to your engineer station, potentially disrupting communications of other ships, taking down ships' shields, hacking into systems, all these sorts of things that, we just don't know if this ship will ever have its true potential. For right now, though, it is an EMP and distortion boat, which does quite a good job. Now, you can enter the turret here, which we'll go ahead really quick and take a quick look at the view before I show you a little bit of combat footage and give you my score on this ship here. Now, go ahead and get into this seat here. You can see the view is not the greatest. You do have quite a bit of stuff in your way, and then you can't get a full, right above you look, but you do have all 360 around your ship here, just looking, all around. It's definitely not terrible. So make sure your gunner uses that to its advantage and keeps things off your rear. Now, let's go ahead and make our way to the front of the ship really quick, where you're going to see the rest of the components are housed. You got a lot of them here on the walls, right here and here, over here, over here. A lot of them are just mounted there, and then you have one more right here underneath the stairs. Obviously, if you go ahead and open that up, you can go ahead and store certain things in there, which is pretty nice. Hide the drugs, right? For now, until we get the actual component that goes in there. And then this is the pilot seat, which I will give you a quick glance of what it looks like to be in that seat, show you some combat footage, and give you my score. Right here, you do see you have 4 MFDs, your radar system straight front, and then you have quite a few struts in your way, and not the best view. For a ship that is considered a long-range heavy fighter, you maybe one day might have a lot of armor, help protecting you and your, gunner in there, but as of right now, she's kind of fragile, so let's go ahead and take it into battle. As you can see, it's a pretty fun ship to fly into battle. I mean, they had a great time, and the EMP generator and the distortion guns worked out great. This was against PvE targets, and it was quite funny watching these targets get disabled and then just destroying them. But against PvP targets, you got to be a little bit more careful about what you're fighting, because if the ship is smaller than you, more than likely you're going to be circled for days, and it's just not going to be a fun experience. So don't go against arrows, gladiuses, hornets, anything that can outmaneuver you if you don't know, 100% what you're doing, or maybe you're just practicing your combat. This probably isn't the ship to go against those with. But overall, this ship is fantastic. It has a great amount of firepower, and it can definitely handle itself, especially in PvE. My score is an 85 out of 100. It has a great amount of firepower. Its biggest lacking areas is its shield, its HP, and the ship size is a little bit big, given the fact that you're out there, you're a combat ship. The bigger you are, the more detectable you are. There's a lot of factors into ship size, and that's just something to consider as well, but not much of a hit there. Obviously, ship scores shouldn't be completely based off the ship size, but that ship size is all about detectability, the size of the target, how easy it is to hit you. That's all considered in that rating there. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think of the Vanguard Sentinel down in the comments below. Is this the ship you would pick out of all the Vanguards, or do you prefer something like the Harbinger? Thank you again for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.